A secret hack to saving money and becoming rich. In today's video, I'm going to go over something that everyone that is wealthy or is up and coming and is achieving wealth is doing, and the rest of the population that's even trying for that isn't doing this hack. And this hack is responsible for a lot of the wealth generation at the beginning of your journey and at the top end of your journey when you're spending a little bit more and bringing less in. If you're interested or you're looking to retire early, retire it all, grow your income, be above average for your age, make more money, and if you're at the grassroots of that or you're still not a millionaire, I mean, it can be effective up until then, but it really helps when you're still fighting for your first $100,000, your first $200,000. This hack will make all of that easier, and more importantly, it'll improve your work-life balance behind your journey and what you're doing. But before we get into it, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. Lots of cool information on this channel and lots to come. It's also free to do and it's free to like the video. I would really appreciate it. Okay, so this hack is something that I've been doing for years, and basically everyone that is successful or is probably going to become successful does this hack, and the hack isn't some crazy thing. It's just a method of saving money, which then makes you be able to invest more money and ultimately have more money at the end of your lifespan or your journey of whatever you're doing. And I'm just gonna get into it because it sounds like all this nuance and ambience. So as you're growing your wealth, you are growing your income, right? There's no smoke around that. You need to make more money to have more money. I mean, we all understand that. As you make more money in the United States, your tax rate goes up and you're taxed more. As you make even more money, or you're trying to make more money, you think about things like businesses, hustles, investments, real estate, all these other things that add to your wage or your salaried job that is bringing the money in. Most of us on this journey are doing that to increase our wealth. So what is this almighty hack? Well, while you're doing all of these things, you still have a life. You, I, everybody has a life. There are things they enjoy doing. They have hobbies. And the best people that are growing their wealth early are able to monetize those hobbies. Now, that can be toxic. And what I'm saying here has to be taken very lightly. What they do is they monetize the things they love to do so that they can make doing those things a business expense and a write-off towards some type of wealth generation. And then, even though you're going through this grind mindset, you're working 80 hours a week, when you want to go do something like take a vacation or have a nice sports car or have a vacation home, you have a small business around it that makes just enough money that you can either take a loss against your personal income, which has a limit in the United States, and again, this is not tax advice. You need to consult a CPA to figure out what works best for you. But what you can do is you can make enough money that then investing in what you want to do from that for your business makes sense. Now, you might think, oh, this doesn't work. The greatest example is everyone that has a travel blog. So this is very common in the FIRE movement. This is very common with people that are looking to do the whole side hustle thing. They'll have some type of content and social media creation and content that they're monetizing behind their passion to travel or just vacation. And ultimately what they're doing is they're making a little bit of money, and then they're going to be able to go and do those things, that experience, that travel, that whatever it is, and write it off, make it an expense towards the income that they're bringing in. Now, you have to be very careful because there's lots of rules around this, and there's business and there's personal, but I'll give you an example in my personal life and how I've done this so you guys can understand how you might be able to do this. I have two big passions in my life. One is cars. I love the automotive industry, building sports cars. And actually, what brought me to YouTube is my automotive channel, which is much, much, much larger than this channel. This is like I have extra time channel. I actually have a fairly, I have a good growing channel in the automotive space, but I created a YouTube channel and a business around having cars so that I can have a vehicle that I can do things like modify. I can do things like enjoy it, go track events, all those kinds of things. All those are creating content for me. So there's some work behind it, but then I get to write all of those things off because they are expenses towards creating the content in the first place. So yes, there is some addition to work, but I get to enjoy something and it helps me not pay for it out of pocket and make it so it's adjusting against my income. The second thing is is I have travel blogs surrounding, they're not really generalist yet, but they're travel blogs surrounding some of my favorite places to go. I do a lot of scuba diving, so I like to have travel blogs specifically around those areas and the reefs that I want to be in, so that even the experience of visiting the reef and documenting where the best places to go are all expenses that are part of the generation of income behind that business. So again, there is some work behind what I'm doing, but I'm taking the things that I love to do, which are fairly expensive hobbies, and making sure that they net as close to $0 cost to me as possible and still be able to enjoy those things. Now I get it, it's not all butterflies and rainbows. I'm adding work to my life, but when you think about doing things like taking a vacation once a year, or if you have a Lego hobby, that's a random one, or if you just have a hobby that costs you money, there are ways that you can offset those costs for your life by adding a little bit more work that might actually make more sense than adding a couple extra side hustles that don't pay you that much, where you could still do that, it doesn't pay you that much, but then you can offset all the cost of what you're already doing towards that. So that was a mouthful, but it's something that everyone in the industry is doing at some extent. Now, it could be rental properties, it could be anything. The reality is once you pass the place where that makes sense, they stop doing it. Most very successful people stop doing it to an extent, or they really do it because they have an airplane or something like that. The trick that I'm talking about is literally the trick for literally anyone that has an airplane or a private jet. Like, that is why you have it, and that is the benefit of having the private jet, is you're getting this unencumbered travel, and there's probably a passion behind it. Very few people find owning a private jet because it's still, you're netting like zero and you might still be losing money. You're doing it out of a passion because you either really want the convenience or you find that very cool and an addition to your life that you're looking for. That's at the largest scale. At the smallest scale, you see this with businesses that surround food, businesses that surround the automotive sector, travel, whatever it is, whatever, photography, videography, anyone's hobbies, you see it all over the place. That's the main reason most content creators make content, because they're doing something around what they are passionate about. Not because of financial reasons, but like if somebody is a photographer and they make photography content, they're making photography content because they love photography. You just have the added benefit of, if you're a content creator and you're successful with photography, you might have 30 cameras and 1 million lenses because they're all part of what your business is of making content. And then you get to enjoy the spectrum and the pinnacle of everything within that hobby. So while this hack isn't going to make you money, it could, because you could monetize your hobby greater than the spend that you do per year on that hobby. What it's going to do is hopefully make the spending that you're doing a little less impactful in your long-term life and journey in creation wealth. And you guys might be saying to yourselves, well, it's not really saving you that much money. Again, I'm going to use the travel content. If you optimize travel content the correct way, and you are already taking a $3,000 or $4,000 vacation, or even a $1,000 to $2,000 vacation every year, getting 30 to 50% back on that, or all of it, but just a chunk of it, that, if you add that up, it is significant money over 50 years, 40 years in a Roth IRA, or, the S&P 500 or something like that. So there's real money to be had here, real money to be discussed. And for most people, the average American in the United States has debt, credit card debt, at an interest rate of like 20%. It's probably even more than that at this point. That extra savings could reduce your debt and get you free and clear sooner than you would be able to in the first place. It also gives you a very valuable skill set of starting your own business. But before you go, what I just said isn't for everyone. Not everyone's going to be able to do this. I also highly recommend, before you choose to do this, if this is something that you're going to try to hack around and do that entire process, make sure you are consulting a CPA, somebody that understands the tax law around it, or do the research yourself so you understand what you can and cannot expense, and how what you want to do personally affects what you can do from a business standpoint, because there are rules, and if you break those rules, it's like stealing. So you need to make sure you're doing it correctly, but it isn't that hard to do correctly as long as you follow the rules, and just follow the rules and understand what you need to do. And this should make a big difference in a lot of your guys' lives. Oh, and it's interesting, it just came to my head. Fitness. Everyone in fitness. It is a perfect example, but at this point you're probably not even watching. If you were watching this far, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.